Chapter 3 to 4. You have awoken. HP fully restored. I snapped awake, immediately dismissing the prompt informing me that I had awoken with full HP. I rolled out of bed, quickly donning my armor and scouter. Less than 30 seconds later, the scouter came on, with an arrow pointing towards the door. Sana and Jolly were just now waking up, as I was walking out the door. I followed the arrows to each door, staircase, and down hallways, till I reached what I could only term to be a meeting hall. Standing at the head of the meeting hall, about 200 feet away, were 5 older scions, along with the 3 captains. I'd placed the younger of them at about 14 or 15 years old. One was standing a bit further ahead than the rest. I quickly observed each in turn. Name, Christy. Race, Scion. Age, 14 years. Status, alive. HP, 15,600. PL, 6,326. LVL, 9. Christy is team leader for Alpha Squad. Having been in the academy for 10 years, she is top of the heap. Born with a higher than average power level, she was placed in the academy by her parents. A born leader and a strong fighter, she is unwilling to deal with slackers or those that fail to meet her expectations. Name, Tor. Race, Scion. Age, 13 years. Status, alive. HP, 16,200. PL, 5,987. LVL, 8. Tor is team leader for Beta Squad. Entering the academy from one of the orphanages within the Frisia Empire at the age of 5, he's been working hard ever since. Earning his spot as team leader at the age of 10, he was quick to show his superiority. While not as strong as a few of the other team leaders, his speed allows him to keep up easily. Name, Luxa. Race, Scion. Age, 10 years. Status, alive. HP, 19,200. PL, 8,200. LVL, 10. Luxa is team leader for Gamma Squad. The son of Captain Gruz, Luxa has been training hard since he was but a baby. Having been pushed to the limit repeatedly, Luxa is the strongest team leader. He is learning his father's aura flash ability but hasn't quite gotten it yet. He was placed in the academy at 8 years old when his father was placed in command of the 14th Strike Force. The other 2 were squad members, who had arrived early. I filed away that the observe ability now shows power level. I assume it's because I unlocked the final power sense perk, as it hasn't leveled up since last time. I compared what I was sensing to what was shown with observe and it was exactly right. Take a spot along the right wall, KLL. Captain Marlowe called out. I hurried to do so, hearing the clicks and beeps of scouters reading my power level. It was sitting at 45, my bare minimum. I considered raising it to the 190 it was yesterday, before tossing away the notion. Let them be surprised. I thought. I leaned against the wall, studying and observing each person as they entered. With over 200 kids, I managed to level up, observe 5 times and unlock a new feature. I also gained 350 XP total from leveling it up, which leaves 4600 XP till level 3. It seems the reward increases by 10 XP for each higher level. Starting at leveling it to 2, I gained 10 XP. That means for getting it to level 10, I gained 90 XP. Sana and Jolly had joined me along the wall shortly after I had arrived but ignored me for the most part. Ping. By leveling Observe to 10, you've unlocked a new skill. Reward, 500 XP. 2900 XP/7000 XP. 4100 XP till LVL 3. HUD LVL Max, passive. HUD, or heads-up display, is an augmented reality feature. Based on the auxiliary skill Observe, the more levels you have in Observe, the more information your HUD will display. The world twisted for a moment, then came back into focus. Above each person's head was their name, level, and their HP. There was a tiny spot, almost out of the corner of my eye, that I could see my own HP and current power level. It would take a bit of getting used to, but I could do it. It was immensely helpful. Bing. You have gained +1 luck for appreciating the game's hard work to be fun. Now I feel like someone is watching. I thought to myself, waiting for another point to intelligence for guessing that correctly. When nothing came, I went back to observing the final few people. I noticed that the group of kids was loosely set up in groups. There were 2 groups of about 10, one with about 5, at the front, with the rest of the kids in a large group at the back. Welcome back everyone, to the first day of the academy. Some of you have just returned from your families, some of you simply enjoyed 2 weeks off duty. Regardless, I expect each and every one of you to work harder than ever before, Captain Marlowe addressed us all. For the newbies' sake, I'll go over our structure here at the academy. Standing before us are the 3 teams and their team leader. Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. Behind them is the auxiliary team. Each team works together, trains together, lives together. Captain Marlowe stepped forward, walking down the center of the groups. We have 3 new children with us today, to be introduced. For time's sake, I'll take care of it. If one of the main teams decides they want you, they'll say so. If not, you'll join the auxiliary team, with chances to join the main teams later in the year. He stopped about midways, directly across from us. All the kids in the groups had turned in time to him, keeping him always in view. Very rigid. First, on the left is Sana. She is 5 years old. She passed the physical test and agility tests with 100%. Her power level is 258. She didn't hesitate to follow orders to test her resolve yesterday. She has previous training from her mother. He spoke loudly so that he could be heard in the entire hall. Do any of the teams wish to petition for her to join? He asked, finally. I looked up towards the team leaders and saw that Luxa was simply staring at Sana, while both Christy and Tura were discussing things with their teams. Finally, after a few moments of discussion, both Christy and Tura announced interest in Sana. Very well. Sana. Both Alpha and Beta wish for your presence on their team. Take your pick. Captain Marlowe ordered. Sana was looking between both groups and back at Jolly. I saw him lightly nod at her before she called out that she would join Alpha team. Good. Go forward and stand with your group. Next, on the right, is KLL. He too is 5 years old. He spoke loudly, again. He reached up and tapped his scouter. While his power level may only be showing at 45, know that he is a suppressor. He passed his physical test with 100% and earned a pass on his agility test. His power level went up to 190 during his physical test yesterday, and up to 209 during the resolve section. He did hesitate to follow orders, but once attacked, reacted with a ferocity I don't often see in our younger recruits. Do any of the teams wish to petition for him to join? He asked, finally. I was watching the team leaders again and saw that Tor and Luxa were in a heated argument. I turned on subtitles and saw that Tor felt he should get me since he missed out on Sana. After a few more minutes of it, Marlowe coughed, getting their attention. After a second of hesitation, both announced that they would be willing to accept me onto their team. I thought back to their biographies. Luxa was related to Captain Gruz, and also more powerful than any other student here by far. I could easily train under him and gain XP and stats very quickly. Tor was fast, and that was really it. I quickly accepted a place on the Gamma team. After being told to go join them, I made my way up there to the front. I stood with them while Jolly was introduced. Jolly didn't get a fantastic review. He passed both sections, but his fear was evident during the resolve section. The look of true sadness as he was pushed to the auxiliary team was a powerful motivator. Be your best, or get left behind. I had a clear advantage due to the gamer. Some basic math showed that after a few levels, and Zenkai's, I'd be stronger than every kid here, and maybe even some of the lower captains. I don't know what the max level is in this game, but if it's 20 or higher, I wouldn't even need Super Saiyan to break 1 million power level. Oh yeah. Super Saiyan. None of the Scions here must have unlocked it if Frisia is still around. I can't really manufacture the process of breaking through to Super Saiyan, but just knowing that it exists is a huge advantage. I thought. Quest alert. Story quest. Long-term goal, become the Super Saiyan. Reward, 30,000 XP. Instantly hit accept on that one. I don't know what level I'll manage that one, but the 30k experience would probably be enough to push me up an entire level at that point. For that matter, the other levels of Super Saiyan must be long-term goals as well, with ever-increasing rewards. I found myself wishing there was a guide to this game, so I could know if Super Saiyan 4 exists in this universe. Going Owozu after gaining Super Saiyan is a pretty easy way to ultimate power, in my opinion. That's that, kids. Team leaders, take the day off to get to know your new member. Everyone else, we're doing field maneuver after lunchtime. Don't be late. Captain Marlowe announced, before heading back up to Captain Gruz and Captain Lar. Follow me, everyone. We're heading to the alcove. Luxa ordered. I took a quick look around at the 6 other kids on this team. 2 of them were young enough to be my age, while the rest were around 10. I'd observed them earlier, but didn't memorize their names. I'd pull that information up once we've gotten to our destination. We walked together out the side door and lifted off into the air. Igniting his aura, Luxa tore off into the sky, the others following suit. I pushed my power level to 150, ignited my aura as well, and followed after. One thing I'll never get over is flying. It's the ultimate freedom. It feels almost like swimming, but without having something press in around you at all times. On top of that, the range of motion is 1,000,000 times greater. At any second, I could shoot off at any angle. I was in love with flying. If it weren't for the fact that society probably hasn't progressed that far, I'd marry flying. We flew up, and out to the left of the main building, and around the side of the entire construct. The building was slightly reminiscent of Cammy's Lookout, in design. As we approached the side, I could see that there were openings built into the side of the construct. We passed by a bunch of the openings, before Luxa halted, and lightly landed. The others waited, before landing as well, with me joining a second later. I found myself standing in the opening of a medium-sized room, with chairs, a couch, and a TV. It was practically a living room. Deeper into the aptly named alcove were doors along a half-circle wall. 9 doors in all, 7 of them had nameplates on them. I was guessing that they matched the other kids on my team. KLL. Welcome to Team Gamma's home. This is where you will eat, rest, and sleep. Pick one of the empty rooms, and I'll order a nameplate for you, Luxa said. First though, let's see your power level. He, along with everyone else, reached up and activated their scouters. I had lowered my power level back down to 45 once we had landed, and could see that number reflected in each scouter facing me. Should I power up to 209, as reported? I could also aim to impress, and go to my max of 450. I thought. I quickly sensed those around me, seeing their range of power levels. The ones that seemed my age were over 300, with the rest well over 1,000. If I wanted to impress, I needed to go to max. I ignited my aura, and pushed my energy out, to the max. It instantly slammed to 451, filling my body with energy. I hadn't yet powered up to the max since I'd leveled up, so this was a completely new feeling. I felt as though I could lift a car, and throw it half a mile, or punch through solid steel. I heard the beeps as their scouters adjusted, and read my max power level. Interesting, Luxa remarked. You just might be the strongest 5-year-old I've ever seen. What's your secret? I dropped my power level back down to 50, and replied, I just trained a lot, I guess. Well, welcome to the team. We start team training exercises tomorrow, so be sure to set the alarm in your room for 5 in the morning. You're free to come and go as you please, including exploring the city. I'd suggest being back before dark, but that's not a hard and fast rule. Your scouter has a map function and voice functionality. Just tell it where you want to go, and it'll take you. Any questions? Luxa says as he lounges on the couch. I shake my head, and quickly pull up the other team members' information, from my earlier observe. In order, we had Messina, a half scion with a power level of just over 1100. Nissa, a full scion with a power level of 2400. Bara, a Jitna with a power level of over 1800. Volter, another half scion with a power level of 324. Abia, a full scion with a power level of 341. Those 5, plus I and the team leader, made up Gamma Squad. I introduced myself to each one, earning mostly positive remarks in return. Abia seems jealous that I was stronger than him even though we were the same age, but I ignore it. I wonder if there is a library or bookstore in the city. I could use a refresher on this world's history, and major events. I think to myself, as I tap through the GPS function on the scouter. I finally find where I enter in a location and say, library, to it. It beeps and boops for a moment before an indicator pops up telling me my destination is 200 kilometers away. I figure I can probably fly there in less than an hour, so head on out. I continue to observe those that I fly past, earning XP, and gaining information. Never too soon to know who I'm up against, as far as I'm concerned. I'm moving along at a good pace, easily 300 kilometers per hour, so it won't take long to make it to the library. This city is absolutely massive, however. I've passed by at least 20 giant, 200-story apartment complexes, and can see much more in the distance. I freeze in midair, unable to believe what I'm looking at. I track someone with my eyes, reading their information over again. Name, Kakarot. Race, Scion. Age, 33 years. Status, alive. HP, 62,548. Power level, 480,192. LVL. Kakarot is captain of the 1st Strike Force, well known for their battle prowess. One of the strongest fighters in Frisia's army, Kakarot is known to be highly dangerous. Very few scions have ever reached his power level. Born with a power level of only 2, he is the poster child for what training can really do. Fuck me. Goku never went to Earth. That changes everything. Bardock never went back in time, never became the first Super Saiyan. A lot of the bad shit that happened on Earth never went down because Goku didn't stop the small shit, causing an escalation. No androids, no Cell. Buu may still be out there, though. That could be really bad. What age was Buu reborn in? Quest alert. Story quest. Long-term goal, discover the fate of Buu. Reward, 25,000 XP. Wait. Do the Dragon Balls exist in this game? Quest alert. Story quest. Long-term goal, find the Dragon Balls. Reward, 65,000 XP. Does Beerus? Quest alert. Story quest. Long-term goal, seek out the destroyer. Reward, 1,000,000 XP. I'm going to stop thinking now. Not a single legend for Super Saiyan's. Not a single one. It's like the entire legend was based on Bardock. What about those like Broly, though? I mean, technically he's not canon, but Kale is, and regardless of what they call her, she's Universe SXS legendary Super Saiyan. I thought as I read through a stack of books. Maybe Broly doesn't exist in this game. I wonder what happened to Broly. I whispered aloud. Quest alert. Story quest. Long-term goal, discover the fate of Broly. Reward, 45,000 XP. That answers that. He clearly exists, yet Legends of the Legendary Super Saiyan doesn't. Maybe he was the first. I'll have to look more into this. I rambled, as I began putting the books back. I'd leveled up, observed again on the way here after my brain rebooted after seeing Goku. This level up earned me a time display for my HUD, which was nice. I could even turn it on and off at will. It was getting close to 8 p.m., so I needed to head out soon if I wanted to make it back to the alcove in good time. I finished putting everything back and headed out. Flying was still a joy, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even though I plan to eventually play the other modules that come with this game, this one would probably always be my favorite. Flying is just that cool. I was zipping through the air, doing rolls, flips, and dives just for the hell of it. I noticed that on my HUD there was an indicator telling me that flight mode was enabled, and also a little number beneath it. Oh shit. I have a speedometer. That's so nifty. I thought, as I slowed down, and sped back up testing it out. I pushed my power level up to 500, then let the energy fill my body, igniting my aura. I instantly shot forward, my speed indicator jumping from 240 km per hour to over 1,000 km per hour. The world seemed to be passing by me in slow motion, but I could tell I was moving at breakneck speed. Holy shit. That's what happened in my fight with Liz. When I let my energy fill my body, it slows down my perceptions, while speeding up my body. No wonder I was able to counter him so easily. That also explains why stronger opponents move so quickly in the shows and manga. They are pumping more energy into their bodies, more energy, faster movement, and perceptions. That's so fucking cool. I thought to myself, as I blasted through the city. Bing. You have gained +1 intelligence for puzzling out an aspect of the game. You know, instantly earning rewards is a huge motivator for doing shit. Too bad real life wasn't like this. Wait, there technically wasn't a real life. Now I'm confused. Fuck me. Whatever, I'm almost home. I dropped my energy to 50, flashing my aura away, and landed lightly on the edge of the opening to the alcove. Nissa and Bara were both lounging on the couch, watching the TV. There was a report on the current happenings in the Empire, and the ongoing struggles on a planet called Ildren. Apparently, there were plans to call in the 2nd or 3rd strike force if the 5th doesn't have it handled by the end of the week. Reports have come in that Raditz, current captain of the 5th strike force, has defeated 2 of the Yild's lead commanders at the same time. We may have some footage of the battle early tomorrow morning. Reports are saying that it was a battle that shook the entire planet. The reporter reported on his report. I filed that information away, as I headed into my little room. It was pretty standard, from what I'd seen of the rooms in this universe so far. There was a double bed, with drawers underneath. There was a small closet in the back and a door that led into a private bathroom. I stripped down and showered. It's weird being 5 years old, with muscle definition. I couldn't wait till I was at least 15 or older. That body would be closer to what I'm used to, at least. Once I'd finished that, I checked myself out in the mirror. This was the first mirror I had come across so far, so it was weird to see myself at this angle. Having 3 eyes was strange, but on the whole, I looked pretty badass. My hair was a rich, dark black. It was almost down to my shoulders, about mid-neck. Very thick, spiky all over. Kinda reminded me of Bakura's hair from Yu-Gi-Oh!, but shorter, thicker, and black. I dried it as best I could, but the towel felt like it was doing very little to help. I floated into the air a bit and ignited my aura again. I started pushing my energy out, and around me, whipping up a bit of a whirlwind which quickly dried my hair. Nice. I thought as I dropped back down. I checked out what clothes were offered, but it was pretty much just underclothes, and battle armor. I slipped into some underclothes and flopped down on my bed. I played with my HUD's clock and found that it does contain an alarm. I set it for 4 a.m., rolled over, and promptly went to sleep. Update. Patch notes. Beta 0.12. 3 game-breaking bugs have been patched. 2 exploits have been patched. 1 hacker has had their account reset. Due to 36 years of downtime, we have given every player an ultra-rare item. Check your inventory in the game to check it out. You have awoken. HP fully restored. What? Updates. Patch notes. Inventory. This game is ridiculous, I swear. Since when do I have an inventory? As it seems to be the case here, ask and you shall receive. A new screen popped up, showing myself, along with item slots for clothes and whatnot. Attached to that was a second box that contained a single item. Medal of Limited Wish. God damn do I love this fucking game. I reached up and tapped on the item, selecting Use from the context menu. State your wish. I wish for immortality. I spoke aloud. Invalid wish. Kinda expected that. How about experience? I asked. Granted. Plus 2500 XP. 3640/7000. 2360 XP till LVL3. Well, alright. That's useful. I do wish I'd had a list of what I could wish for, though. Would have made things much easier. Oh, shit, gotta go. I scrambled to get my scouter and armor on. I made it out into the living room section, quietly crossing the room and jumping out the opening. I flew up to the main concourse of the facility, landing lightly. I checked my scouter's map function, looking to see if there was a gym here somewhere. With a beep, arrows started showing me the way. I pumped some energy into my body and jogged along the selected path. About 3 minutes later, I found my way into a large gym. There were bunches of equipment, some familiar, some unfamiliar. Normal things like weights, treadmills, stair climber, etc. There was a machine with arms like an octopus and this spiky ball thing. I ignored those and started with some weightlifting. Judging from 2 days ago, I could increase my power level by increasing my strength through exertion. I gained a point from lifting the weights during the test, so I saw no reason I couldn't do so again. I set it to 100 pounds, which was the max I did 2 days ago, without energy, and began my workout. 30 minutes later, I had gained 2 points to my strength, and switched off to the treadmill, earning 2 points for endurance as well. I kept having to increase my power level, to keep it above 10%. I was really sweaty but only had 10 minutes to spare till I needed to be back at the alcove to begin team training. I rushed into the shower, cleaning off, before throwing on my armor while still wet. I was out the door, and into the air instantly, using my energy to make a whirlwind of air around me as I flew to the alcove. I was completely dry by the time I landed and found the team waiting for me. Good of you to make it, KLL, Luxa said, checking the time. Right on time, good job. We normally have to wake the new recruits ourselves, on their first day. He pointed at a bucket of water, already set near my room's door. Ha. No, I'm an early to bed, early to rise type. I was at the gym, getting in a workout. Gotta warm up, and all that. I replied. Well, good. We'll get along just fine, then. Alright, Gamma. Today, we're going to head out into the wilds west of the academy and do some live combat training. We'll split into 2 teams, try to equal things out power-wise, and see what happens, Luxa said, once we were all ready. Everyone good? Good. Let's head out. Quest alert. Objective, practice combat with Gamma team. Bonus objective number 1. Bonus objective number 2. Reward, 500 XP. I accepted the quest and followed behind the group. We flew west at a good pace, for about half an hour. We'd hit a forest not even 10 minutes out, so we were a good 40 to 50 kilometers deep, based on our speed. Luxa began dropping down to a clearing up ahead, and the rest of the team followed along. Once we had all landed, Luxa addressed us, alright team, this is how we're going to split up. Team 1 is going to be Nissa, Valtar, Abia, and KLL, Team 2 will be Messina and Bara. I'll be watching as we go along. As we're doing surprise combat, no scouters for scanning. Use them to communicate only. Team 1, switch to sub-channel A, Team 2, sub-channel B. I'll be on the main channel so I can communicate with both as needed. Any questions? Everyone shook their heads, and we were ordered to split up. Team 1 was to head north, Team 2 was to head south, with the exercise was to start in 10 minutes. Nissa, Valtar, Abia, and I quickly flew north for about 6 minutes, before landing in some trees. Anyone mind if I play team leader? Nissa asked. No one objected, so we received our standing orders. I was to circle west, along with Abia, while Valtar went east. When Nissa engaged, she'd shoot a blast into the air, and we were to converge on that area to help out. Abia and I quickly flew west, circling around a bit. After the countdown finished, another alert popped up. Combat has started. Enemies. Messina LVL 3. 570 XP. Bara LVL 4. 800 XP. I had a huge advantage, in that I could sense everyone's location for the most part. I could tell exactly where Messina and Bara were currently at, along with the rest of Team 1. Abia and I were crouched down in a tree, watching the area around us. I was mainly just studying the plants and animals I could see since I knew where everyone was at. How did you get so strong? Abia whispered to me. I trained a lot in the orphanage, I whispered back. Abia glared at me and replied, so did I, and I barely broke the 200s. I shrugged and went back to sensing everyone's location. Messina was getting closer to us, while Bara was still mostly in the middle. Closer to Nissa by far, but still close enough that he would hear if Messina found us. I reached up and tapped my scouter's comlink. Nissa, I believe Messina is closing in on Abia and me. I can't tell if Bara is with her or not. Might want to make some noise, draw them off. I spoke quietly. What? Where? Abia exclaimed like a total fucking idiot. Instantly, Messina was rushing towards us, ETA 2 to 3 seconds at most. I concentrated my energy into my hand, and shot a blast into the air above us, and pushed my energy to the max. My aura pulsed around me, as I rushed forward to meet her head-on. I flooded my body with the energy, every last drop I could. I felt Abia ignite his aura as well, and follow behind me. Messina broke through the trees directly in front of me, barely reacting in time to block the spinning kick I launched at her head. Her arm bent inward slightly, at the unexpected power behind the kick, distracting her enough that Abia was able to slip in and punch her in the gut. It barely slowed her down, as she immediately hammer-fisted him into the ground. I pushed my energy even harder, trying to slow things down as much as I could, but it wasn't helping as much as it should. Messina may have only been twice as strong as me, but her agility must have been through the fucking roof, as I barely even saw her move. Suddenly I was 10 feet back, slamming into a tree, my face and chest sore from a two-fisted punch. I brought both hands forward, shoving my energy into my palms, pulling my best Vegeta impression, and pulsing off 4 rapid-fire bolts of energy from each palm. Each one connected, pushing her back into the woods a bit. I shot up into the air, twisting to dodge a bright blue beam she shot at my retreating form. KLL. Came a shout from the east of me. I turned and was relieved to see that Nissa had some to the rescue. Slammed to a stop right next to me, and slapped a pulse of energy away, that was about to hit us both. We turned as one and saw that Bara was closing in as well with Valtar coming in behind him. I could feel Abia slipping around in the forest below us, while Messina tried to take him out with beams and blasts. Take the left side, KLL. Valtar, look for openings for blasts. Nissa shouted, and then closed with Bara. Bara wasn't quite as strong as Nissa, but obviously better trained. He winced each time he blocked one of her attacks, but he blocked each one. I came in from the right instead of the left, after barrel rolling around them, and managed to kick one of Bara's arms right as he went to block one of Nissa's punches. It connected with a snap, launching him back, with her following right along. Valtar snapped off 2 sharp beams of light at Bara, one of which missed, but the other cut across his back, stopping his flight backward to a halt. Nissa was instantly on him, throwing combos like her life depended on it. A few were making it through, but Bara was showing his skills by moving just enough to make them glancing blows. Abia's energy cut off suddenly, and I knew he'd just got his ass knocked out. Messina was going to be joining us up here soon enough, and we couldn't afford to fight both at the same time. I brought both hands forward, forming a cup shape in front of my check. Let's see if this works out. I thought as I started pumping my energy into my hands. A bright ball of boiling energy started forming in my hands, the energy sparkling in the air. I kept pushing more, and more energy into it, till it felt as though it would leap out of my hands on its own if I didn't let it go. I squeezed down on it, hard, and pumped more energy into it, feeling it fighting against me. My will was stronger though, and I managed another cycle of energy before I knew it couldn't hold anymore. Nissa, move. I shouted, and let it go. There was a roar, and a bright flash of light filled my vision. KLL beam. I shouted, at the last second. Fuck, that's a stupid name. Why did I shout that? It had better not stick, I thought as the energy rushed forward. I sensed Nissa finally connect fully with Bara before she rushed off to the left. My beam of energy slammed into Bara, engulfing him completely. As the energy left me, I felt lightheaded, fatigued, barely there. As the bright light filled my vision completely, I thought, got him, and I knew no more. You have awoken. HP fully restored. My eyes snapped open to the sound of combat all around me. I was laying in a slight indent in the ground, where my body had crashed after I passed out. I rolled over and jumped to my feet. I couldn't sense Abia, Valtar, or Bara. Nissa and Messina were jumped back and forth in the air above me, with Luxa floating along above them, watching their fight. I launched myself into the air, igniting my aura, and powering up to my fullest. I started pumping the energy into my body, slowing things down to where I could see Messina dodging Nissa's fervent attacks. Damn, that girl is fast. Even though Nissa is over twice her power level, she can't make contact. They are both flagging a bit, having used so much energy in this fight so far. Enough that I might just make a difference, I thought, as I prepared to jump in when there was an opening. Nissa went for a spinning backhand that Messina ducked under, and kicked her hard in the small of her back, knocking her away. I rocketed forward, coming at Messina from behind, to the left. I pumped every last bit of energy I had available into my speed and strength, hoping it would be enough to catch her off guard. Messina started to turn towards me, probably having heard the air whistling around me, or the roar of my aura as it scorched the sky. My fist slammed into her gut, knocking her breath out of her. I brought my knee up, snapping her head back harshly. HAA. I yelled as I spun on my axis, my kick connecting fully with her side, launching her down towards the ground. Nissa appeared suddenly, catching her with a hard right to the face, a hard left that knocked her back. I dropped like a stone towards them, my fists together for a hammer fist. Messina managed to right herself, turning quickly to face Nissa. Too bad for her that she wasn't the direct threat. My fist slammed hard into her back, bending her body around the point of contact, sending her rocketing towards the ground. Her aura cut out instantly, and Luxa appeared, catching her. He lightly set her down on the ground, near where Abia, Bara, and Valtar were also laid out. Nissa and I both landed next to everyone and looked to Luxa. That was fantastic. Your teamwork was great, and you both showed off moderate amounts of skill. I give it an A+, he said, as he started injecting something into Messina's arm. He moved on to Bara, Abia, and Valtar in turn. By the time he had finished, Messina was starting to stir. Seeing my surprised look, he said, it's a variant of the healing machine liquid. It heals small injuries, and helps wake up those that are knocked out. I nodded and waited for everyone to finish waking up. Once everyone was back on their feet, Luxa talked for a while on what everyone did right in his opinion, and what they did wrong. KLL, using so much energy that you fall unconscious is a pretty bad move, for the most part at least. In a large-scale battle, sacrificing yourself to take out a much stronger opponent, however, is actually a sound strategy. Had you not, Messina and Bara would have easily defeated the rest of your team. During the pre-combat phase, you noticed Messina before she noticed you, and alerted your superior. Had Abia not alerted her to your presence, there is every real chance that Nissa could have made it to you in time that you three could have taken her out before Bara even noticed that combat was starting. For that, I'm giving you a solid B grade on this exercise. Combat has stopped. Enemies. Messina LVL 3. 570 XP, awarded. 50% for assistance. Bara LVL 4. 800 XP, awarded. Total reward, 1085. 5725/7000. 1275 XP till LVL 3. Quest success. Objectives, practice combat with Gamma Team. Pass. Plus 500 XP. Bonus objective number 1, remain hidden till combat begins. Fail. Bonus objective number 2, defeat Bara or Messina with an original move. Pass. Plus 1000 XP. Total reward, plus 1500 XP. 7225/7000. Dash 225 XP till LVL 3. Level up alert. Rewards. Plus 2 attribute points. Plus 1 special attack creation point. Oh fuck yeah. I thought. Level up. The world froze around me again, and my character sheet popped into existence around me. I looked over everything, trying to decide what the best course of action was. From what I'd learned so far, I could increase my strength and endurance easily enough. Those would slowly increase my power level, which was good. However, I had yet to find a way to increase my perception, charisma, agility, or luck. Intelligence was pretty straightforward, and I assumed that I could study and increase that. Maybe dodging things would help with agility. I'd have to look into that. Fuck it, I thought, as I put one point into perception, the other into luck. I finalized my selections and was given a completed copy of my character sheet. Name, KLL. Title, The Scion Gamer. Race, Scion. Age, 5 years. Status, alive. LVL, 3. 7225/13000. 5775 XP till LVL 4. Stats. S8, +6, 14. P4, +2, 6. E8, +5, 13. C3, -1, 2. I6, +5, 11. A6. L5, +2, 7. Health. Strength X, Endurance X, Level X 20. 14 *13 *1 *20 equals 10920 HP. Energy. Scion. Strength X Endurance equals Base Energy. Base Energy X Battles equals Energy Regen. Energy Regen X Level equals Power Level. Power Level X Energy Modification equals Total Power. 14 times 13 is equal to 182. 182 times 1 is equal to 182. 182 times 3 is equal to 546. 546 times 1.9 is equal to 1037.4. Base Energy, 182. Energy Regen, 182. Power Level, 546. Energy Modifier, 1.9, Scion Elite, 0.2, plus a drastic loss, 0.3, plus Inner Eye, 0.2, plus Earn Zenkai, 0.2. Final Power Level, 1037.4. Feats, Scion Elite, a drastic loss, Inner Eye, Enhanced Zenkai, Energy Suppression, Energy Sense LVL 3, and Oxygen. Who needs it? LVL 1. Remaining feats, 3. Perks, The Gamer, How Old Am I, Bonus Feats, X3. Special Abilities. Zenkai, healing from less than 30% HP adds 0.1 to your energy modifier. Scion Prowess, every battle lends to your strength. Every battle you participate in which you damage someone past 80% HP, adds 1 to your battle count. Inner Eye, possesses the third eye, in the middle of the forehead. +1 to Perception, -1 to Charisma, plus 0.2 to Energy Modifier. Unlocks Feat Energy Sense LVL 2. Jeez. I'm going to have to hide my power level for a while. There is no way they'll believe my power level jumped from around 300 to over 1000, in 2 days. At this rate, I'll be stronger than Luxa in just weeks. I thought as I closed out the screen. The world swam back into focus, and Luxa finished his talk. Alright everyone, that's a wrap for today. We'll rest for today, so everyone can heal. We're scheduled for group training with Beta tomorrow, and then auxiliary the day after. Don't let me down, alright? He said, trying to pump us up. We all agreed, then followed him back to the academy. Everyone went their own way, though Bara stopped me to say my attack scared the shit out of him. I thought I was about to die when I looked up and saw a wall of energy coming my way. Never seen anything like it. I got a nice Zenkai out of it, though, so thanks for that. He punched my arm as he passed by. I hopped in the bath, and just relaxed for a moment. This is going to take some getting used to, I think. I can do it, though. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Who knows? Maybe on my next playthrough, I can snag the perk to be the legendary Super Scion. Then I can just rampage for a while. Ha ha ha, did I just evil laugh, in my head? I need a nap. I wonder what that special move creation point was about. Would you like to create a special move? Sigh, I should have known.